Hey, I'm Dean and this is Legacy Voyage. In Season 1, I'm documenting my journey to earning my first 100K net worth as a full-time college student. Join me as I share some of the lessons I learned along the way. One of the GOATs, the greatest of all time, Michael Jordan, he said this was the story or the turning point in his entire life. And I think if he's saying that, it means a lot because he was a GOAT. Some backstory. Here he was, probably like freshman, sophomore year. That's when he was just starting to play basketball. Not just starting to play basketball. He wasn't that dude, not like how we know him now. He even got declined from the varsity team. Isn't that crazy to think about? The GOAT, the person who reigns over basketball, did not make varsity as an underclassman. That's wild. So a couple years passed by. Now he's like a senior in high school. And senior year, it's like, got to go to the college camps, got to go show your talent to all the coaches. There was a camp you heard about nearby. It was a 5-star camp. So you already know all the 5-star recruits are going to be there. Here comes the camp. The day of the camp comes up. Jordan walks in. He's sweaty. His palms are hecka sweaty. That's literally what he said as he was describing and telling the story. So nervous, this guy. And he walks in, looks around at all the other players who were able to make varsity as when they were underclassmen. And here walks in this kid from middle of nowhere, North Carolina, this country boy who no one thinks anything of. Because remember, the only recruits that people should know about are the 5-star recruits. And we already know who the 5-star recruits are. So there's no more surprises. No one's going to come in here and then surprise everyone. Oh, there's another 5-star recruit that we all missed. That just doesn't happen. And then Jordan was talking about how when he was there, he was nervous. I mean, obviously, any high school kid would be nervous because they never tested their talents against other kids who were outside of their state. So that was really his first time putting his talents to the test. But when he walked in, he still had that confidence, that false confidence, where he was like, you know what? I'm a one-possession player. Give me one possession, I'll show them what I got, and then I'll start turning heads. That was the type of mindset that he had. Even though his palms were sweaty, even though his heart was beating fast, even though he was tempted to look down at the ground, keep to himself, he still went out there, gave it his all. One possession passes by, 2 possession passes by, and of course, he starts turning heads. Coaches start calling, oh, who's this Jordan kid out here? Then after that, he just had the Michael Jordan confidence that we know he has today. I heard the story from a podcast I just listened to called the Founders Podcast. There were probably some details in there that weren't right on, but the main idea of the story is that he wasn't certain about his talents. He didn't know for sure that he was going to go in and then smack everyone around and just be that guy. But he went in with a false confidence. And the person who was recording the podcast, he was referring it back to Kanye West. He just had a type of false confidence. I'm that kid who's going to make it big in music, that stuff like that. That's really the main takeaway from the story, but I'm divided on it because I can see how it's beneficial and how it's a part of the greats. Like Jordan did it, so it has to work. But then again, another part of me is like, how much of this is survivorship bias? And all we're seeing are the people who make it big with that type of mindset. Like there's no podcast made, no storylines, no newspaper being written about someone who had that type of mindset and then went bust though. That wasn't much of a clear, but it's just something I found I think it was really interesting. So I wanted to share it with my life update. Again, like I said in the last episode, assisted living industry, it is tough. Been run to ads for a couple days, about 250 in the hole, no calls. And that completely sucks, man. It's just so devastating to put money, time, and energy into something and not see the results from it. And it's only been like a couple days. Can't imagine the feeling that it would be having this type of effort putting into something and not seeing the results for years. And that's what you have to do from what I've listened to and learned. I'm just barely starting out. But that's how it is right now. I finished up a lot of the stuff for Coach V. So just finished transferring stuff over, emails, marketing. I honestly think the coaching industry would be a lot easier. The only thing about it is that I wouldn't want to work with coaches who don't actually know what they're talking about, which is probably very common in the coaching industry, I think. Besides that, the other industries will be so much easier, concrete, landscape, stuff like that. But I'm going to stick with it. My dad came up with the idea of doing a mastermind for people who own residential assisted living facilities. And I honestly think it's an amazing idea because if you do the mastermind combined with selling the software, that's really how a whole bunch of other companies blew up ClickFunnels. So I think it's a very compelling idea, and I really might pursue it. But we shall see indeed. See you in the next one.